Two men raised the same boy. One was his real father, a highly educated man, a government official, a man who worked hard his entire life, climbed every ladder he was told to climb, followed every rule society gave him, and died nearly broke. The other was his best friend's father, a man who never finished 8th grade, a man with no college degree, no prestigious job title, no guarantee of a salary, and became one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii. Same city, same era, same opportunities available to both of them, completely different results. The difference was not intelligence, it was not luck, it was not education, it was what each man believed about money, and what they chose to teach the boy who was watching them both. This is the story of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the book that has sold over 40 million copies worldwide, translated into 51 languages, and changed the way millions of people think about money forever. Robert Kiyosaki grew up in Hawaii in the 1950s and 60s. His father, who he calls Poor Dad in the book, was a brilliant and educated man. He had a PhD, he was the head of education for the state of Hawaii. By every conventional measure, he was a success, but money was always a struggle. The family lived paycheck to paycheck, and whenever young Robert asked questions about money, his father had the same answer. Study hard, get good grades, get a safe job with good benefits. His best friend, Mike, had a different kind of father. Mike's dad had dropped out of school early. He started small businesses, bought properties, built companies. He was not famous, he was not celebrated, but he was quietly, steadily, becoming very wealthy. And when Robert asked Mike's dad about money, the answers were completely different. At age 9, Robert asked his rich dad how to get rich. Rich Dad did not give him a lecture, he did not hand him a book. He gave him a job, dusting cans in his grocery store for 10 cents an hour. After several weeks of this, Robert was frustrated. He went to Rich Dad and complained that 10 cents an hour was not going to make him rich. Rich Dad smiled, and the real lesson began.
Rich Dad told Robert something that day that most adults never figure out their entire lives. He said, most people spend their lives working for money. The rich spend their lives making money work for them. He called the trap that most people fall into the rat race. Here is how the rat race works. You go to school. You get good grades. You get a job. You get a paycheck. You spend your paycheck. You need more money. You work harder. You get a raise. You spend more. You buy a bigger house, a nicer car, better things. You need even more money. You work even harder. And you run and run and run on this wheel until you are 65 years old. And if you are lucky, you have just enough to retire on. Sound familiar? This is the life path that Poor Dad believed in completely. Work hard, get promoted, earn more, spend more. And Rich Dad saw it for exactly what it was. A trap. Because no matter how much you earn in the rat race, you never get ahead. The more you make, the more you spend. The more you spend, the more you need. The cycle never ends. The only way to escape is to understand one fundamental truth about money that school never teaches you.
Rich Dad told Robert that the entire secret to wealth could be summed up in one sentence. The rich buy assets. The poor and middle class buy liabilities and think they are assets. This is the single most important idea in the entire book. And once you understand it, you cannot unsee it. So what is the difference? An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. That is it. That simple. That profound. Now here is where it gets interesting. Most people think their house is an asset. Kiyosaki says, for most people, it is not. It is a liability. Think about it. Every month, your house takes money out of your pocket. Mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, repairs. Your house costs you money every single month. That is the definition of a liability. A rental property that generates income every month. That is an asset. It puts money into your pocket. A car, liability, takes money out every month. Loan payments, insurance, fuel, maintenance. A business that runs without you and generates profit. Asset. Stocks that pay dividends. Asset. Your designer clothes. Your big television. Your latest phone. All liabilities. Kiyosaki's lesson is devastatingly simple.
Rich people spend their lives acquiring assets. Poor and middle-class people spend their lives acquiring liabilities and wondering why they never get ahead. Rich Dad also taught Robert about what he called the Cashflow Quadrant. He said that every person in the world earns money from one of 4 positions. Position 1, employee. You work for someone else. You trade your time for a paycheck. Your income depends entirely on showing up. Stop showing up, the money stops. Position 2, self-employed. You work for yourself. You own your job, but you do not own a business. If you stop working, the income stops. The dentist, the freelancer, the independent consultant, technically their own boss, but still trapped trading time for money. Position 3, business owner. You own a system. Other people, or that system, works for you. You can go on holiday for a month, and the money keeps coming in. McDonald's is not in the burger business. It is in the system business. Position 4, investor. Your money works for you. You place capital into assets that generate returns. You earn while you sleep, while you travel, while you live your life. Most people spend their entire lives in positions 1 and 2, working harder and harder for money that never quite stretches far enough. The wealthy live in positions 3 and 4. Their assets and systems generate income whether they work or not. Rich Dad's goal for Robert was to move from the left side of the quadrant to the right, from trading time for money to making money trade for itself. At the heart of Rich Dad, Poor Dad are 6 lessons. 6 ideas that Rich Dad believed every young person should be taught, but almost never is. Lesson 1. The rich do not work for money. They understand that fear and greed keep most people trapped in jobs they hate. Fear of not having enough money. Greed for more stuff once they do. The rich learn to master their emotions around money and make it work for them instead. Lesson 2. Why teach financial literacy? You must understand the difference between an asset and a liability. You must understand cash flow, how money moves in and out of your life. Without this knowledge, it does not matter how much you earn. You will always spend it all. Lesson 3. Mind your own business. This does not mean quit your job. It means that while you work your job, you should be quietly and consistently building your own asset column on the side. Real estate, stocks, a small business, something that generates income outside your salary. Lesson 4. The history of taxes and the power of corporations. Rich Dad taught Robert that the wealthy use corporations and legal tax strategies to keep more of what they earn. Employees earn money, pay taxes, then spend what is left. The wealthy earn money, spend through their business, then pay taxes on what remains. The rules are different when you understand the game. Lesson 5. The rich invent money. Most people wait for opportunity to knock. The rich create opportunities. They develop financial intelligence, the ability to see deals, spot value, understand markets, and then act when others hesitate. Financial intelligence is a skill, and like all skills, it can be learned. Lesson 6. Work to learn, not to earn. Rich Dad told Robert to never stay in a job just for the paycheck. Go where you will learn the most. Sales, marketing, accounting, management, leadership. Every skill you develop makes you more valuable as an entrepreneur and investor. The paycheck is temporary. The knowledge is permanent. The most powerful part of Rich Dad, Poor Dad is not a strategy or a formula. It is the contrast between 2 sets of beliefs. Poor Dad said, "I cannot afford it." Rich Dad said, "How can I afford it?" Poor Dad said, "Money is the root of all evil." Rich Dad said, "The lack of money is the root of all evil." Poor Dad said, "Study hard so you can find a good company to work for." Rich Dad said, "Study hard so you can find a good company to buy." Poor Dad said, "I work hard for my money." Rich Dad said, "My money works hard for me." Poor Dad said, "Play it safe. Do not take risks." Rich Dad said, "Learn to manage risk." Neither man was wrong about what they believed. They simply had completely different beliefs about what money was, what it was for, and what was possible. And those beliefs shaped every single financial decision they ever made. So how do you take these lessons and actually use them? Here are 5 things you can start doing right now,
no matter where you are financially. Step 1. Know your numbers. Sit down and make 2 lists. On the left, every asset you own, things that put money into your pocket. On the right, every liability, things that take money out. Most people have never done this. Most people are shocked when they do. Step 2. Stop acquiring liabilities and start acquiring assets. Before your next purchase, ask one question: does this put money into my pocket or take money out? This single question will transform how you spend. Not every liability is avoidable, but awareness changes everything. Step 3. Pay yourself first. Rich Dad's most practical rule. Before you pay your bills, before you buy anything, set aside a portion of every paycheck for your asset column. Even 10%. Even 5%. The habit matters more than the amount. Put it into index funds. Into savings. Into something that grows. Step 4. Increase your financial intelligence. Read, learn about investing, accounting, real estate, taxes, and business. Kiyosaki says that most people think financial problems are solved by earning more money, but more money given to a financially illiterate person simply creates a bigger financial mess. Step 5. Build something on the side. You do not need to quit your job to start building assets. A small investment account, a side business, a rental property one day. The goal is to build an asset column that eventually generates enough income to cover your expenses. That is the day you become truly free. Robert Kiyosaki had 2 fathers, both loved him. Both wanted the best for him, both worked hard and meant well. But only one taught him how money actually works. The tragedy is not that poor dad gave bad advice. The tragedy is that poor dad's advice, study hard, get a safe job, work for a paycheck, is the advice that almost every child in the world receives. And it is the advice that keeps most people trapped in the rat race for the rest of their lives. But you are watching this video, which means you are already asking different questions. You are already thinking differently about money. The question now is not which dad you had, the question is which dad you choose to listen to from this moment forward. Buy assets, reduce liabilities, pay yourself first, learn how money works, and make it work for you. Because the best time to start was the day you were born, the second best time is right now. If this video changed how you think about money, subscribe to Wealth Doctrine for weekly investing wisdom. New video every week, and drop a comment below. Did you grow up with a rich dad mindset or a poor dad mindset? Which one are you choosing now?